take projection.
Welcome everybody to Taking On Sports. I am TD. That is Greg. Greg, how you doing today?
I am good. How are you today, sir?
I'm pretty good. Just a beautiful gray, rainy day here in Birmingham. It's one of those Alabama winter days.
Yep.
Um, but yeah, so nothing huge to lead off with this week. Really, no more major movement in baseball off season.
Right.
NFL season kind of going on. I guess we can get to that in a little bit. Of course, our huge. I guess the big story this week was the offsides call on Kadarius Toney last weekend. But
All
I don't
right.
know what Andy and Pat were so mad about because he was clearly lined up all sides.
Yeah. I think it's just more they're just frustrated with how the season was. They're just a couple of weeks, and I think they're just it's easier to get mad at the refs and your own teammate. I think that was just them being good. Keeping
Good
keeping cool as
teammates.
possible with their. Yeah, I think that was more than
Yeah.
anything. The Curly's outside. I guess the only big thing I would say with that, I guess you get so used to the refs saying, "Hey, back up," or is everything good? And
hmm
they didn't say that, but I mean, if you're in the NFL, you should know where to line up at as
I
well.
was about to
So,
say you should know, and then you should at least he didn't look down the line too, because every time you
right,
watch him, they look down, and that's when the refs
right,
would be like, "No, you need to back up a step," and he would have
right.
done it. So yeah, I think that's all on them. Um,
Or maybe,
you know,
yeah, or maybe ask yourself, if you're not sure. But yeah,
yeah, right.
definitely,
I mean, he
definitely
could have looked
throw it.
right down the line and saw that. Yeah.
Right. But at the same time, I mean, the Chiefs were playing bad football.
hmm
They had plenty of other chances they could have won that game last weekend there. But that's just easy. Last thing, which of course what everybody goes off of or reacts to. So
Yeah,
one way or the other.
after being such a cool play too, Kelsey making heads up,
Man,
throwing that
right.
ball, that would have been a great way for them. But um, I think we just talked about it so much this year, but it's clearly they're missing not just Tyreek Hill, but just having like that number one
Just
receiver
having
guy.
any,
Yeah,
yeah. And there's no one that's a
yeah,
number one at all. Not even
mm-mm,
close to a number one.
no,
And just in general too, like I don't understand like why Kadarius Tony just hasn't been coming into the league. I really thought he had a chance to be a star, even in New
hmm
York, just with how good he was in Gainesville. I mean, he was an athlete. And was a touchdown in any second. It seemed like that season with Kyle Trask and with 20,
hmm
and then just it really hasn't worked out in the league at all. So other than he had a decent couple plays in the Super Bowl. Other than that, that's been kind of his career. He's either hurt or nothing much of anything. I don't know. Kind of weird.
yeah. No, yeah,
Yeah,
he's got
but
all the physical tools, but just
yeah,
doesn't seem to can't put it together.
right. And it's weird. But the whole AFC for as dominant, at the start of the season, we thought, man, the AFC just so good. So it's not as much as they're not nearly as good as what I thought going into the season. I think a lot of people feel the same way. I mean, the Chiefs are
hmm
what are. I mean, I don't think anybody really thought the Chiefs this one be 8-5 on the season. I mean, looks like they'll win today. But I mean, if they hadn't won, I mean, they're really spiraling. This is where everything's at right now. I mean,
Yeah, they idiot like you said. If they hadn't won, they're in danger of the Broncos kind of sneaking up on them for that division
yeah,
crown. Of
right.
course, the
But
Broncos
yeah,
big loss last
got
night to
slaughtered last night.
yeah the
That was
Lions kind of Jared Goff 5 touchdowns. Our boy Jameer Gibbs got a 100-yard game, his
a
second
big game.
of the year.
Yeah.
hmm Um,
But it was weird. I mean, that was the game I thought, man, that might be the decent game, and that was the worst one of the
mhm.
whole of the whole Saturday. Like the other two were
No,
somewhat
yeah, that was
decent
the only
games,
one.
but I
We
was
did
like,
some Christmas shopping earlier in the day, and I thought, oh, I'd be
yeah,
fine. I'm not going to miss these 2 games. And then I
yeah,
was like, I'll watch that one. And no, yeah, like you said, that wasn't the one to
That was the one to
to
be out
watch it
on.
all.
Yeah,
Uh-uh.
that was not a game at all. I thought, the Broncos been playing pretty decent football as of late. I mean, they really turned it around, looking somewhat of what people thought they should have been for a
Mm-hmm.
while. And then, Detroit, really don't know what Detroit's going to show up.
Mm-mm.
Like, they're either good or there's really no middle ground with Detroit. And you even see it in the same game. Like, we've seen them look bad for 3 quarters and then turn it on. And
Mm-hmm.
then, we've seen other games where they just look bad the whole game. And then time where they look really good. So it's just, I don't know.
Yeah, they definitely have the potential to make a run in the NFC, but
Yeah.
yeah, you worry about them running into like the 49ers and
Yeah, you run
uh,
into the 49ers on a bad day and you're getting housed. It's not,
yeah, yeah, big time.
it gets bad quick. Yeah.
Um, Speaking of getting bad, we'll stay in the NFL real quick. Thursday night was a very bad night for
Oof.
the Chargers,
Was it? Wow.
and it cost head coach Brandon Staley and their GM their jobs.
Hmm.
They were let go after a 63-21 loss to the Raiders.
And the
Not just a
worst thing,
bad loss, but a bad loss to a bad team. That's
yeah.
oof.
Because, I mean, that's the same team that couldn't score any points against Minnesota 5 days prior.
Right? Yeah,
They just lost 3-0.
just lost 3-0. Yeah, it's just an ugly, hideous game offensively, and then you come out and put 63. And Brandon
I
Staley, a
mean,
defensive guy, he's got to go. I guess it
obviously
might
the
have
team
been.
is,
I was going to say it might have been in a roundabout way a good day for Chargers fans.
yeah,
They'll finally get the reset, and I think
right.
there's a lot of people in there that would love to have Justin Herbert um, in
Yeah,
that
for sure.
offensive
Would love it.
roster, and then
And really, they have
you,
a decent defensive roster, and for the most part, the defense hasn't been bad. I mean, they've given up at times, but I don't know. There's just way too much talent for them to be below average in,
yeah,
uh, in LA. And really, I mean, if I'm the Chargers, I wouldn't even give him another shot. I mean, he was,
mm-mm.
2 years ago he could have made the playoffs and had that dumb accepting the penalty against the Chargers. I mean the Raiders.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And then last year blew the 20+ lead. Like that would have been enough for me personally. But I guess they figured one more year. But I would have been done with him in January.
Um, yeah, so we'll see who gets in there. I'm sure Jim
Right.
Harbaugh's name will come up for that.
Yeah.
I'm sure plenty of offensive minds in and
Oh
around
yeah.
the
I mean,
NFL would love to have Justin Herbert as your
yeah.
quarterback with, guys
You
like
got to
Austin
think.
Eckler and
Oh yeah.
Keenan Allen and, Mike
Yeah.
Williams if he comes back next year and
Right.
all those
I
kind
mean,
of Quentin Johnston, younger receiver.
yeah,
They got talent there for sure.
for sure. And yeah,
Um,
you just never know who might be interested in that. I mean, a big market in LA, even though you're the second-rate team there, I mean, you're still a good place. I mean, any coach would love to be in LA, and I mean, overall, I don't think that they're overly I mean, they'll give you some time if you're, as long as you're showing effort. I don't think that they're overly angry fan base, or if there's much of any of a fan base left. But I mean, it's not like they're in your face if it's not failing in Philly or, in New York or, something like that. It's pretty laid
mhm.
back, I'd say. So not a lot of pressure, but, clearly the team had given up on Brandon Staley, so he had to go.
Yeah, yeah. Um, they'll go, they'll get I guess, a decent draft pick out of that and,
Right.
look toward next year.
Yeah.
And not really no playoff implications from that one.
No.
A lot of games today, or yesterday too. I guess the Bengals, despite
Yeah.
no Joe Burrow, they keep winning. Old
They
Jake
do
Brown
keep
and
winning.
he's doing a huge fourth quarter for them to force overtime, and then
Right.
they got
Because
the
they were
win.
down
Yeah.
quick early, and I thought, oh, it's going
Mm-hmm.
to be a long day for them, but
Yeah.
they really,
The Colts, kind of a big win over the Steelers. Steelers getting close in danger. First ever losing season there for
yeah,
them.
yeah, for sure. They're definitely
Or first for Mike
Definitely on the
Tomlin, I should
verge.
say.
Yeah, for Mike Tomlin.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely on the verge of it. And
Mhm.
with how bad that offense is, I don't see that getting any better anytime soon. Like it's not, there's not a
Mm-mm.
switch to just turn on. Like they're just not good.
No, and today you're looking at that's bad because there's so many teams in the running for those wild card spots in the
Yeah,
AFC.
there's
And
no
as
room
we
for
talk
error
right
right now.
now, the Panthers just kicked a game-winning field goal to walk it off against the Falcons. So Bryce Young led a game-winning
Oh,
drive down the
Bryce
field and
Young. Yeah. What
got
is
him
it,
there,
9-7?
9-7.
Well,
Thrilling.
if you are a Falcons fan, how pissed are you today? Like you
They're
have to be
ooh,
like you got to be
bad.
pissed. 'Cause, I mean, as bad
Uh
as the
huh.
division is, you're right there, still in contention, and that
Mm-hmm.
just I think that pretty much puts you out. Especially, I mean, Tampa's winning right now. The Saints are winning right now. This was a horrible day to lose, and you can't lose to Carolina this season. Like
Mm-mm.
that's just not a good, especially
No,
this time of the year.
ugly game. Wet. It looks like
Right.
they're that big nor'easter or whatever is going up the east coast,
Hmm.
so it's dumping rain on them. But they were down inside the 10, and Ritter threw a bad interception. Real bad interception. Um,
Yeah.
and Bryce led the Panthers down the field, and they just kicked the field goal. So, like you said, that's huge. That might just put the Falcons out of the NFC South race with the Saints. They'll definitely get a win. They're up 24-6 with under 2 minutes ago at home, and then,
Yeah.
like you said, the Bucks are up a couple scores in their
Up
driving at
14.
Green Bay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
At Green Bay. So yeah.
yeah, yeah. Baker
I mean
Mayfield
that's
381 and 4 touchdowns today. Baker going off.
that is a dude when he's on, he's still special,
Mm-hmm.
but he just has so much that you wonder
Mm-hmm.
about in between. In between is kind of bad in between.
Yeah.
And
So
I don't know if he ever really got, give or take. I'm not sure how fair of a shot he really got in. He had the one good year with the Browns, then he got injured, and it was kind of the next season after that good year. There's a lot of expectations, didn't go as planned.
mhm.
So, I think he's more serviceable than what people give him credit for. I mean, I've
Mm-hmm.
seen much worse this year in the league. Like he's far from the, far from the worst as far as who's out there right now playing quarterback. So, I mean, Tampa may have not the best option, but definitely could be a much worse situation than Baker Mayfield as we've seen in plenty of teams this year. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and even one more thing too with the Falcons fans. Again, I think we talked about this earlier this year, but there's a couple teams, them probably leading among them, that your fan, if you're a Falcons fan, you got really pissed off and just wonder why they did not try to trade for Lamar Jackson in the offseason when that all that was kind of going on, and it looked like
boy, you
he
didn't
might be
even
leaving
attempt it,
Baltimore.
and they were
Uh,
quick to say we're not interested. Why
yeah, why
not?
not?
What?
Because he's in the MVP discussion. His team's in
Like
first
it's
place in
one
the
thing if they
AFC.
tell you no,
Yeah.
if he says absolutely I'm not coming to Atlanta, but I
Mm-hmm.
would, if I'm a fan, I'm like, well, at least they tried. I understand why he wouldn't
Mm-hmm.
come, but hey, they threw him a deal and they didn't like it. He didn't. It wasn't what he wanted, or Baltimore
Mm-hmm.
turned it down, or whatever the case may have been. But I at least want to know we at least tried when we're not, because there's nothing that says that Ritter is the future.
Mm-mm. No, yeah.
I mean,
They've given
he's
him
old.
they've given him his fair chance, but he just
Yeah,
hasn't shown it. Yeah.
no. And as we know in today's NFL, like there's no room. I mean, it's tough on these quarterbacks, but just with the world we're in with NFL quarterbacks, there's no room for error. Like you get your
Mm-mm.
X amount of time, and then it's just done. Like there's no patience for mediocrity and poor play after like 2 years.
Yeah.
You either get in and show you have something, or you're done because people are ready to move on in their quickness. Like no one develops quarterbacks for more than a year or two before they're like, hey, gotta go.
Yeah, you wonder if he'll move on to somewhere else and try
Right.
there. Same thing with like Mac Jones in New England. You figure one
Yeah.
more team's got to give him a shot because of
Yeah.
the
And
difference
then,
there being though Atlanta's got weapons around them.
right.
It's just been a
Yeah.
curious case of like why Kyle Pitts isn't
Never gets
developing in the
used.
star he should be. Yeah.
Yeah. Kyle Pitts is literally dying on this.
Hmm.
He is just way too talented. And it's not even a case of he's out there and he's just not good. Like when he actually gets targeted, he's good. It's
Hmm.
crazy.
Yeah.
Like,
So yeah,
I
that's
don't know.
official in Green Bay. Tampa Bay does win
Mm,
that first place in the NFC South.
yeah.
Um, yeah, other games going on right now. Like we said, the
Miami,
Chiefs will finish it out. Miami
yeah,
blowing the hell out of
housing
the
the Jets.
Jets. Yeah.
And that's when I
Although,
was wondering about only because like with anytime Tyree doesn't play, like the Dolphins don't seem like the same team. But yeah, that they wasn't a problem.
yeah, they had a few injuries, but Jalen Waddle stepped up. He had a big day, 142
Jalen
yards and a touchdown
yeah.
through the air.
Mostert had two on the ground.
Yeah, just an efficient day for that Miami defense and offense. So they'll win. They are keeping it in the race. They are a game behind the Ravens for that one seed in AFC. Those two teams meet in a couple weeks to decide that. Ravens got a tough one. They go into Jacksonville's for tonight, Sunday night, which is
Right.
historically just been like Jacksonville is like the weird. It's that every team has that one team. Whatever you do, you can't beat them for whatever, or they're just weird.
Yeah.
And for the Ravens, it's been Jacksonville. A few years ago, they played
That's
them
what
in London, got their asses kicked.
I
Uh,
remember that.
yeah, I remember a Monday night game about 10 years ago. They went to Jacksonville, should have beat them, and lost like 12-6. Some like just ugly game.
Right.
Um, so Jacksonville's just one of those teams. So all Ravens
Yeah.
fans right now are kind of
And
nervous.
Jacksonville was still in the somewhat in the mix for that, still in contention, little off, but still there, kind of in that
Yeah,
mix as well for
at
the
least
number
it'd be a
one
big game
there.
for them with
So
the AFC South because
yeah.
Texans struggling today without um,
Oh
CJ
yeah. Yeah.
Stroud.
Yeah.
They're
Without
tied
Petey,
at
they're not.
16 right now against the Titans wearing their sleek Oilers throwbacks in Houston. Or no, not in Houston. That one
Nah.
is. I was about to say,
That would have been
damn, I didn't
extra.
realize
That would have been
that's a,
extra.
oh, that's
That would have been
salty.
extra. So like right. I mean,
Uh,
it's funny enough that they're doing it.
Against them,
They
yeah.
do, yeah. But if it was in Houston, I don't know how that would go.
Which
Oh
reminds me,
boy.
I'm pretty sure I saw earlier this year that the NFL kind of wrote the University of Houston, told them they didn't want them to wear those
Yeah.
Oilers inspired
Yeah.
uniforms. That's
I
bullshit.
thought
Fuck
that.
that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Change wear it every game next year, Houston. Do it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, like, do it. Why not?
Yeah. And then what else going on right here? So that's the big close one. The Browns trying to come back against the Bears to keep their right now they're the fifth seed in the playoffs, but you don't want to lose if you're in that race because
No.
if you look,
They
you
yeah,
got the Browns at eight and
everybody has
five. The
five losses in the
yeah
AFC
the
single.
the Bengals and Colts are 8-6, and you have the Texans Bills at 7-6, and you got the Steelers and Broncos at seven and
Yeah.
seven, and even
Right.
kind of the Raiders and Jets are kind of sitting there at 8 losses. Of course, the Jets will lose their ninth, so that'll kind of put them out. If the Titans win, they'll be 6-8 too, and just kind of they need a lot to go right for them. But
Right.
oh,
So I mean, it's a
oh,
tight race. But one thing is this with the Jets, like I didn't was out haven't seen any of the game at all really. Did Zach Wilson get hurt or did he get pulled again? Because he looked
he
like he
got
was
hurt.
4 of
No, he got
11.
hurt.
Okay, 4 of
Yeah, he is.
11, 26 yards.
Yeah, right. After
But
such a
I
great
mean,
game last week. No, he. I think he got like a concussion or something. Um,
right. And then there's all
but
this talk about Aaron Rodgers coming back this year. I'm just like,
hmm,
dude, why,
for
what are you
what?
doing, bro?
Yeah,
Right? I'm I get it. You're trying to come back, but dude, same like if you want to help this team next year, be like just what I mean. You're almost 40 years old, coming off a bad injury. There, like there's nothing you could really do that's gonna save this season. Like just save it for next year if you're coming back to be a Jet. Like I don't understand that at all. But
yeah. So yeah, the Texans right now trying to get in a field goal position. They only have, I think they just took their last time out, and they're at about midfield with 9 seconds. Like I
mm,
said, so the Dolphins will win. They'll go to 10-4. Um, the Chiefs officially did win. The Saints have now officially won. So yeah, it's getting to that time where in the NFC too, it's tight for those.
oh yeah,
The
the NFC is
Eagles.
very tight.
Actually, now looking at the updated standings with some of the results, the Niners and now the Cowboys have
The
clinched playoff
worst.
spots.
Woohoo.
Oh, so there you go. There, no one has clinched an AFC yet. Funny enough, um, the Patriots are officially eliminated, as are the
They've been,
Panthers. That
they've
happened
kind of,
before today, obviously.
they've been kind of been done for a while, both, of course. So. I guess the biggest thing on New England, though, just gonna, just off season drama with, Belichick. I mean, do they, you at least gotta let him, I mean, it sounds like he's done no matter what, but you at least gotta let him seem like he's stepping out on his own
Hmm.
terms and can't say
Hmm.
he's officially fired because how does that look? But
No, yeah,
seems like
that
that's
is
kind of what,
interesting to see where they go, or if they maybe draft a quarterback high and try to let him
right,
lead it, or hell, maybe they trade the. Well, I
right,
wouldn't. I don't think you can just like trade for a quarterback, and because
no,
again, we've talked about all year, they have no weapons, none. I mean,
yeah. Yeah,
Stevenson's been injured a lot, and Zeke
yes,
is, he's actually played well this year, but he's still, he's not the Zeke Elliott
he's
of
a
five
shell of himself,
years ago.
yeah.
Yeah,
And then,
looks
if I'm already in the league, I don't want to go there. Like if I'm a quarterback, like yeah, there's
no, no.
there's nothing that makes me want to go to New England at all.
Yeah,
I mean,
draft one of those quarterbacks,
yeah, see what you can do
and
with
just
that.
go rebuild. And if
Yeah,
Belichick doesn't want to rebuild, or you don't want him to, yeah, like you said, he's Bill Belichick. He can go out on his terms.
yeah, just let them say, "Hey, I'm leaving," because it sounds
Hmm.
like that's what's happening. Because I mean, that's been the rumor since they had that game in England or
Hmm.
Germany, one of the two. Like, sounds like it's kind of just waiting for a win more than if. But yeah, at least make it sound like he at least stepped away himself. Like how you can't really just say, "Hey, we fired Bill Belichick." What?
Oh, wait, did they just score? Oh, Joe Flacco to Amari Cooper for a
Right,
touchdown for
man,
the Browns.
man,
Oh
Joe
man, but
Flacco's
did
on
they lead?
fire.
He's actually three interceptions today, so he hasn't been too great. But yeah, that'll give him
Right,
a hey.
I'll give him something right there.
That'll give them something, and about 3 minutes left in that game still, so that's a lot.
Man,
A lot of
a
time
lot
left
of
for that
time
one.
left.
Browns need that. They sit in a 5 spot, like I said, but a loss there would
Yeah,
drop them down, even with the Bengals and Colts, and maybe the Texans if the Texans win, and then the Bills play your
and
Cowboys
then yeah, that'll
here
be
in
a
a little bit.
big,
Hmm.
big shot that in the sun. Well, I guess your guys' game is pretty big too, but yeah, I mean that's a huge game for both. Just for Dallas,
Hmm.
uh, as far as maybe staying in that two slot, and then for Buffalo, yeah, a loss here would really hurt them.
Yeah, Buffalo, they kind of need to win out to even have a
Yeah,
shot. Um, And then you guys,
yeah,
I mean, it's huge for y'all too because you got to stay ahead of the Eagles. And right now, you're like I said,
right,
you're the 2 seed. If you can stay
right.
ahead of them and get a home game,
That'd be huge.
uh, at least one or two in the
Right, that
playoffs.
would
Yeah.
be absolutely huge because
Ooh, they're reviewing here in Cleveland. I think see if Cooper stepped out. Um, good throw, Flacco. Classic Flacco throw, just throwing it, weaving it in there.
And
Uh,
then talking about the Bears, that's another thing that's interesting. Just what are the Bears gonna do? Are they really gonna move on from Justin Fields? Are they gonna bring?
hmm
Are they bringing other talent in, or what? Do they believe that is Caleb Williams the answer over Justin Fields, or do you draft talent around Justin Fields? Like personally,
Yeah.
I would want to draft talent around him because he has at least a feel for the league and shown great things at times. But I don't know.
Yeah. Uh, Tennessee and Houston are going to overtime. Um,
Oh man,
so yeah, big one there. And then let's see who else. 49ers play the Cardinals at 3. That's
that'll get ugly.
yeah. It'll either get ugly or it's one of those random Cardinals wins. Um,
Yeah.
and then the Rams. It's probably tough loss for them last week to my Ravens. Overtime punt
Hmm.
return touchdown
Yeah,
for
they
the Ravens in a wet.
they've been playing decently.
Rams offense has been playing really well. Gotta say. So they're a team to look out for too. They play the Commanders, and they are currently right behind the Saints for the last wild card spot. So Rams must win
Hmm.
for them too to keep pace with that. Would draw them to 7-7, even with the Vikings and Saints.
You would have to think they should.
I would think so at
Yeah,
home too.
I would think they
Yeah.
win at home. Yeah, the
Mhm.
Commanders, I don't know. They're just it's like I don't. They're another team that just doesn't. Well, they just don't have a quarterback. Like,
No, did they? Is Rivera still officially there? They didn't get rid of him yet, have
yeah,
they?
no, he hasn't been fired yet. I
You
don't
would
know what
think
they're
that's
gonna do.
coming though.
You would think so. And really, I don't understand how. I mean, he's a nice enough guy, tough
Mhm.
old school coach, but I don't know how he keeps getting jobs. Because honestly, even his time in Carolina, outside of like 2 years, were pretty. I mean, nothing special outside of a
No.
couple of with Cam, when they went to the Super Bowl. But overall, I mean, he's an average coach. Maybe a great defensive guy. I wouldn't have brought him in as a head coach, honestly. But that's just me.
Yeah. But yeah,
Yeah,
it's
but
kind
I
of where
mean,
we're at in the
think
NFL.
the
Like we said, it's
yeah,
that time of year. They're battling for playoffs. Should
yeah,
be a
for
good couple
sure.
weeks.
Should be a great couple of weeks.
Yeah. Let's see right now. Nope. Looks like the Browns 3-and-out for the Bears on their possession. The Browns will get the ball back. Chance to take the lead late in the game
There
here.
we go.
Um,
Good old
but
Flacco
yeah,
go.
we'll go ahead and move on to college game now. A few bowls. Uh, yesterday, some a couple of good ones too. Um, I can bring up my schedule here. Yeah, we had let's see, Myrtle Beach Bowl, Ohio beat the hell out of Georgia Southern.
Very good.
Celebration Bowl, Howard and FAMU.
Yeah, yeah.
They won Indiana. That's a good one. Jacksonville State and Louisiana played a great one. New Orleans Bowl, double
Man,
overtime. Oh, Rich
yeah,
Rod getting the win.
first team ever to win in their first official season
Hmm.
to make a
And
bowl
look,
game. Yeah, and get a win. I mean, that's
yeah, and
impressive.
look, NCAA, the world didn't end because you let a team that just made the transition up play in the bowl game. How about that?
Exactly. Yeah.
Um, App State beat Miami of Ohio. Fresno State beat the hell out of New Mexico State.
Yeah. Which was kind
UCLA
of
beat
shocking.
Boise. It was. I thought New Mexico State put up a little bigger fight, but especially
Yeah.
kind of there in New Mexico. But
Right.
um, UCLA,
Yeah.
pretty easy win over Boise, and then Texas
Yeah.
Tech, pretty easy win over Cal in the old Independence
Yeah.
Bowl.
It was a good. It was an entertaining first half, but yeah, they got
Mhm.
pulled away. Texas Tech pulled away in the second half. Didn't get quite the magical game. Or was it the '04 Holiday Bowl with Aaron Rodgers and Texas
Oh
Tech in the
yeah.
last second win? It's like a
Oh man. Yeah.
classic. Some of those
Those
Holiday
those
Bowls over the years have been classics. Great
absolutely. The
games over
Holiday
there.
Bowl has always been a just a great
Just a
matchup. It used to be
scoring.
that what it because it was always what like Big 12, Pac 12, right?
Yeah. So always gonna be a lot of points.
Hmm. Yeah, I think we mentioned when we were we did our college football live reaction episode. I think we mentioned that old Texas Washington Holiday Bowl
Oh man.
um, with
Yeah.
Major Applewhite coming in for Chris Sims leading the
Yeah.
comeback. Um, yeah, see this week coming up, there's let's see the Toastery Bowl, the famous Toastery Bowl tomorrow, Western Kentucky and Old Dominion. You got UT San Antonio and Marshall on Tuesday. Thursday, you got South Florida and Syracuse, which got a commitment from Kyle McCord this week.
Oof.
Kind of surprising, yeah. McCord going from Ohio State to Syracuse, but we kind of talked about that last week. We thought he might go a step down. Um, that's
Right.
an
Yeah. Just a
interesting
little.
step, though.
Yeah. Weird step, but I guess he feels like if there's a place he can go and be the guy and not necessarily have a whole bunch of pressure on him. I mean, that's not a bad spot.
Yeah. You got let's see, Friday we'll see Georgia Tech, UCF, and then next Saturday is a big day. You got Troy versus Duke here in Birmingham, Arkansas State, Northern Illinois, James Madison Air Force, Georgia State, Utah State, South Alabama and Eastern Michigan,
Oof.
Utah Northwestern, and Coastal Carolina and San Jose State.
Man. A lot
A
of
lot of
games.
games that day. Yeah.
A lot of games and
Hmm.
a lot of games that most people are not going to tune
Yeah.
into. I mean, it's a lot of games though. I mean, I'm sure I'll
Hmm.
catch bits and pieces of some of them.
I
But
was about to say, people like us will probably be watching some just because it's
yeah,
football. But
right. But yeah, if
um,
you're casual, no one's like, oh my god.
yeah, but yeah, your really good ones, your big ones, don't kind of start till a week after
So after,
Christmas.
yeah,
That
a couple days.
Wednesday,
Yeah,
speaking of, the Holiday Bowl, you got Louisville and
right.
USC. Well, here goes old Cleveland down the field trying to. You got Texas A&M, Oklahoma State, old Big 12
Hmm.
matchup. Um, North Carolina, West Virginia. That might be a sneaky good one there in the
Yeah.
Duke's Mayo Bowl.
Winning coach gets dumped with that lovely Duke's mayo they put on
Mm-hmm.
the raincoat, and that's a
Mm,
good one.
yeah, and you got like, of course, leading up to New Year's Day, you got 29th, you got Clemson, Kentucky. That might be an interesting one.
Yeah.
Um, Oregon State, Notre Dame, Memphis, Iowa State.
Hmm.
Um, let's see.
Yeah.
And of course, on New Year's Day, of course, we got our semifinals, and then you got the Citrus Bowl with Iowa, Tennessee, and then Wisconsin versus LSU. Talk about just two games with two completely like
Two
contrasting
completely
styles.
different.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
Um,
the funniest thing is Tennessee and the Orange is in the Citrus Bowl. What Steve Spurrier always said, you couldn't spell citrus without UT. Oh
uh,
man,
it's
funny
true, but
stuff.
of course, the big thing going on in college this week, transfer portal. We did mention
Going
Kyle
crazy.
McCord officially Syracuse.
Hmm.
Um, it looks like Cam Ward will be down between Florida
Florida
State and
State,
Miami.
Miami, man,
He already
Miami
visited
rolling out
Miami.
the yeah was rolling out the red carpet. It had Rick Ross took him to a nice little state place. I mean,
Oh,
just shows you it's not a whole bunch of tradition right now. It's just they
hmm.
you probably know who Rick Ross is, so we're gonna throw him at you and see if that brings you to Miami or not.
Yeah, Rick Ross. I guess is he the new Uncle Luke? Uh,
Yeah, kind of the face of the rap game in Miami, I'd say.
mhm.
But just crazy that where Miami's at now that just as dominant a football program as they were at one point, that's what they're going, the gimmicks. It just kind of shows you where they're at in the world of college football right now. But
Yeah. Another guy interested in kind of both of those programs, DJU. He's going to take a
yeah,
visit to Florida State this week and then go from there. Mississippi State and Louisville, I think, are two other schools that have been thrown
right.
out there for him too. Of course,
That's interesting.
UCLA quarterback Dante Moore.
Where is he going?
I think he's
He's
going to
still up in
visit
the.
Oregon,
Hmm.
um, which is I guess maybe sit behind Dylan Gabriel for a year.
Still have what,
Uh,
2 years
yeah, I haven't really
after
seen
that?
much else. Apparently, Ohio State might be one person in contention for more.
Hmm.
Um, Will Howard from Kansas State, of course, he's gonna. I think he visited Miami as well.
Yeah,
I think USC is a name he could potentially follow up.
right.
Caleb Williams.
He just doesn't seem like a USC type of quarterback at all. Just I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it's because of the K State, but I mean, he just seems I don't know more fit for a Midwest or powerhouse team than as far as just powerful running game and not really a finesse team, but which is more what USC style. I don't know if he really fits it or not. So that'd be interesting. What they wh- how that
Yeah,
changes them. Much different quarterback than Caleb Williams for sure.
yeah, absolutely. Um, Duke quarterback Riley Leonard went to Notre Dame.
Yeah.
Um, that's kind of probably fits their offensive style there.
Right.
Um,
Yeah. Kind of he's a physical guy, an okay passer.
mhm.
Um, I mean, he's good at when you need him, but yeah, you're not looking for him to lead you with his arm, but he can run the ball, athletic. So that would be
Yeah.
interesting to
Um,
see how it works. But honestly, I feel like if you guys didn't go to the next level with Sam Hartman, I don't know if this is gonna be any. if you can expect any better than what that was. But
Yeah, I think that might be a scheme thing, or we'll see. You know, maybe
right, we'll see. Yeah,
maybe they need a guy more like Riley than um, Hartman.
right.
NC State got Grayson McCall to come over from Coastal Carolina. That's a pretty good one for
Nice.
them.
That is a good one.
Um, Ja'Cory Brooks, hero of
Yeah,
the
going to
2021 Iron Bowl, going
going
to
to
Louisville.
Louisville.
Hmm.
Good luck to him. Hopefully he can do what he needs to
Yeah.
do to get back in the, get back on the field, get some more playing time. He kind of got lost in the shuffle this past year.
Hmm. Got in Saban's doghouse a little bit and didn't
Yeah,
never really recovered. And
right.
so yeah, he's a talented guy. Obviously, I had a friend from Louisville actually hit me up after he got that. She was excited. So uh, good for them. And yeah, hopefully he a fresh start for him and he can show his
Right.
talent up there for them.
Yeah, for sure.
And let's see. And then there's another big one I'm blanking on right now. Mississippi
Oh,
State's
but
quarterback. He's going to Kentucky, right? No,
oh no, he's going to Washington. Will Rogers.
Washington. That's it. Yeah, that's yeah. Will Rogers. Yeah, thank you. Totally blanking. Yeah, he's going to
Will Rogers
Washington.
to
Perfect fit
Washington.
for that scheme.
Exactly. Much more friendly than the offense he was part of this past year.
Hmm.
So that should help him in his college career much better. Because I would have hated to see his college career end as it did with the Mississippi, just with how this past season went in Mississippi State. Kind of
Hmm.
just with all the records he had and all the time he spent there, for it to have ended like that, that would have been a bummer. So hopefully things will work out for him well in Seattle. I would assume he's probably the firm runner to start, but who knows?
Hmm. Yeah. So really, the big news in the transfer portal, I think, is we mentioned those guys: Cam Ward, Dante Moore, Will
Hmm.
Howard, and
Yeah,
DJU. Kind of waiting to see
right,
where they go.
exactly.
Um,
Because DJU definitely showed that he's probably a little better than what he had with a couple years there at Clemson.
hmm.
People maybe there's more the scheme at Clemson than DJU being a bad quarterback
Hmm.
because it seems like I don't know he showed much more of what people thought he might be at Oregon State for sure. So we'll see
Yeah.
how his end of his career goes. If I'm him, I probably would want to end up at Florida State. They seem to be in the right direction, and
Hmm.
but we'll see how that
Florida
all that
State, or
plays
maybe
out.
even a place like Mississippi State or Louisville would be good for him too. Not quite the
Right,
big stage, expectations might be a little lower, and he can just relax and
right,
play ball. Um,
exactly.
Tyler Van Dyke, that was one I was thinking. Transferred from Miami to Wisconsin, so maybe that's another one, a
That's
fresh start for
interesting.
him.
All
And
right,
then yeah, maybe Luke Fickle gets his quarterback to really change that offense as he's trying to do up there.
yeah.
Um,
Which, yeah, I mean, I don't know. That year one was real choppy. I don't think nearly as good as a lot of people thought coming into the season. With that, and maybe just didn't have the right people to run his offense. He was
mhm,
trying to implement. Um, you know, I thought Tanner Mordecai would be better in Madison than he was. The offense really never did anything. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see. Van Dyke, what was it 2 years ago, was really
mhm.
moving to another level and kind of.
Yeah, he was
After he
at
got
one
that
point.
injury,
Yeah, at one point, Tyler Van Dyke was on a lot of the big boards as like a number one draft prospect,
yeah,
and
he was definitely up there.
but a couple of NFL updates here too. The
Oh, Browns,
Browns kicked a field goal to go ahead. The Cardinals took
20,
their opening drive and went straight down and scored a touchdown on the 49ers. And
very
I think
Cardinal like.
the Rams I think are going to get a field goal here start their game.
But yeah, that's
Um,
very, very Cardinal like. Just show up randomly against a good team
mhm. Yeah,
when everybody
exactly.
thinks you're gonna get your head knocked off. Yeah.
Um, but yeah, that's probably it for the transfer portal. Um, I guess that's kind of it for the big names.
Yeah,
We talked about before we started recording. You mentioned it's also interesting to see what guys may throw their name in and then come back. We had it with a offensive
right.
lineman here at Alabama.
Yeah, we did.
Um, you
Yeah,
mentioned
I was kind of shocked that he was put his name in there because with the amount of folks leaving Alabama, I would thought he'd been perfect for that. Maybe not the left side, but on the right side of the line, I really thought he would might have a good chance of being a starter this coming up
mhm,
year. So
yeah,
I get,
uh,
and that's the thing with the transfer portal. That folks really got to think about. Yes, you want to play, but are you really? Is the situation that bad that you want to go somewhere else? I mean, is where you're
hmm
going definitely a better opportunity for you, or are you just frustrated for a little bit? Because if you're kind of frustrated but not completely fed up, it may not always be the best to move because
hmm
not everything is greener on the other side, as many have found out.
yeah, and you got some situations where you get like Malik Murphy. I think you
Yeah,
mentioned him before, Texas quarterback.
right,
He's a redshirt freshman, so we still got 3 years eligibility.
right.
He's sitting behind Quinn Ewers, and then you got Arch Manning right behind that. So
And
yeah,
you
maybe this is a guy that's
know,
not going to get to see the field.
right. And you know that they're going to move on to Manning because of the name
Hmm
Manning. Like, he knows he's not the,
hmm
even if he was better, they're going to give the name Manning a shot because he's a Manning, whether
Yeah,
he's the
and
best or not next year. But
Quinn.
that's kind of, but that's the one thing with folks like him. He wanted to be at Texas to the bowl game, but just with how the whole portal works, I mean, you got to be out of there quick enough to get picked up because you only have till the first.
hmm
So it's weird.
Yeah. Let's see. More NFL looks like Tennessee. Houston still no score in overtime. Tennessee punting to the Texans
Uh,
with a little under 2 minutes left.
no, we might be going for old tie.
Which should not definitely be devastating to the
The
Titans.
tank, yeah,
I might officially, not officially, but pretty much
pretty
knock them
much
out of the
eliminate them.
playoffs. Um,
And after that magical, weird comeback win on Monday night, and then you do
hmm.
this.
Oh, and Will Levis going to the injury tent too. So I wonder what
That's
happened
not
there.
good. But yeah,
Um,
they had that amazing comeback, score 14 points in
hmm
4 minutes against Miami, and then you turn around and have a struggle fest against backup quarterbacks in Houston.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
quietly,
did
if you look at it, Case Keenum has had a long NFL career now. He's
oh
been around the league for a while.
and hits Devin Singletary for a long
Oh
passing game,
wow,
getting him
yeah,
kind of into field goal territory there.
look at that.
Yeah, Case Keenum has been around since I feel like he was playing at Houston when we were in college. It almost
I
feels like.
I swear, at least by the end, he was definitely a Cougar by the time we graduated. No doubt about it.
Let's look that up. Let's see Case Keenum's career here because
It's
I'm
been a
interested in
long.
this one.
He's been in the league for a while.
Let's see. He played at Houston. Yeah, he started in 2006
Yeah.
for the Houston Cougars. He was
Huh.
behind Kevin Kolb. Um,
That was the dude who got all the hype in he's the one that the
mhm,
Eagles picked super early in the draft. Everybody's like, what?
mhm. Yeah, Case Keenum was one of those guys that had a long college career. Actually, got granted a 6 year of eligibility, I believe, due to maybe injury. Yeah. So he played at Houston from 2006 to 2011.
Damn.
Um, yeah, a hell of a college career for him. 19,000
Yeah,
yards
dude.
passing,
Yeah, dude.
155 touchdowns. Um,
Man.
oh, Devin Singletary touchdown.
Oh,
Texans win.
excellent. Man, Walker.
Oh wait. No, yeah, it is okay. Uh, it's a
You
muted
know,
celebrations for the
that's a
Texans, so I'm
big
thinking
win
it's.
for the Texans, though. So you don't have your starting quarterback. You're on the road. It's always a tough.
Uh,
The Titans are always tough in the division game, no matter how good or
mhm.
bad.
Oh,
But
there's a
man,
flag.
that's a.
It's
Oh,
coming back.
yeah, yeah.
I was about to say they showed, and it didn't seem like he wasn't celebrating, and then they showed D'Amico
Uh,
Ryans on the sideline, and he was not. He didn't even
he
take
was
off
not
his
happy.
headset.
Yeah.
No, so we know. Let's see.
And
What do y'all
Devin
call
Singletary, big game, 25, 122. I mean, that's a huge
him? Ooh,
game for him.
yeah. He's one of those guys that pops up every now and again and just.
Right.
Let's see the Bears. Looks like one last Hail Mary shot to. Oh nope, Justin Fielder going to get one more play here. Looks like they tried to get a little closer there, maybe kick a field goal, but it looks now like they'll have to throw a Hail Mary.
I could go for the hammer.
Yeah. Well, Texans tried to run Singletary again, and that did not work. They're about at a 35, so that'd be a 52-ish yard field goal there. Not guaranteed.
Right, yeah. And that's the thing, like, kicking is becoming very there's a lot of questionable kickers in the league these days.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot. Um,
Um,
Nothing's guaranteed for sure in the
Here's
league.
Justin Fields. Oh, goodness.
Oh wow.
Did you just see that? The Hail
Yeah.
Mary attempt for the Bears almost caught, tipped down. A Bears receiver
Oh
was falling
wow.
down, had it in his hands, couldn't corral it, and then tipped it
Jeez.
to a Browns
Yeah.
cornerback to intercept it, ice it.
Oh,
Big wins for the Browns to stay in the
big
playoff
win.
hunt.
Man, that's crazy.
Is that Mooney? The ball fell to him, and as he's falling backwards, it squirts out, and he kicks it to a Browns. Oh
uh,
man, the Bears almost had a miracle win there.
that would have been crazy. Wow.
Oh man. And yep, here come the Texans
Big.
attempt a 54-yarder to win or a tie.
And
Um,
that's a big win for the Browns, though. A heck
mhm,
of a home team. I mean, 6-1 at home there. But who would
mhm.
ever thought that in 2023, Joe Flacco would have almost 375 yards passing?
I mean, last week was amazing. He just
Yeah,
tore it up last week.
right. For 2 weeks in a row, who knew? didn't
Yeah,
know what was gonna look like. So,
yeah. So that moves the Browns to 9-5 now. Huge for them. They stay in that fifth place spot. Um,
and
right
that's
now
a
looks
team you
like.
don't want to play because their defense is so good. They can keep
Yeah.
even the offense is sometimes questionable. That defense
Mhm.
can keep anybody in the game. Like,
Yeah, absolutely. And they're kind of those cardiac kids. They've had a couple good comeback wins last year.
right?
As of now, they
Yeah.
would go to Jacksonville in that first round game, and yeah, that's one of those teams. That even if you're a home team, you don't want to see Cleveland
You
come
don't
in.
want to see Cleveland, not at all.
Here's the kick for Houston. It looks good. It is
It
good.
is good. Game
Texans.
time.
Big
Wow,
win for D'Amico
big
Ryans and the
win.
Texans.
Yeah,
That
huge
moves
win
into
there.
8-6.
Huh?
Let's see if these
That's
standings
huge.
update here. Like I said, that'll bring them level with Cincy and Indianapolis. I'm not sure who has the tiebreakers there. I'll wait to see if these standings update. Um, but that's big. Anything else college you want to touch on, Greg?
College football?
Yeah,
Or, no,
yeah.
I think that's the I guess the other big thing too is these recruits. Before the early signing day, they're going all over the place and
Hmm.
causing a causing a whole bunch of change there.
Hmm.
I guess the biggest one being in Nebraska. There was the Georgia quarterback. The Georgia guy, Dylan Raiola, coming was going to Georgia. Now supposedly he's coming to Nebraska because his dad had
Oh,
played in Nebraska. And then so a lot
interesting.
of people say that's the reason Kyle McCord, because he had come into to Lincoln, and then a lot of people think that that's why Kyle McCord ended up not coming to Nebraska because once the Dylan Raiola news dropped there. So that it's interesting too, as we everybody's interested in the transfer portal, but a lot of these freshmen, trying to tap in early on the NIL money, and that seems to have a lot bigger impact on where they're going these days than not
Hmm.
necessarily traditional, or even worried about necessarily winning national titles. So what type of NFL NIL contracts can I get? So a lot of people talk about just how much money folks are really making, and a lot of it's rumor, a lot of it, but it's all factor in today's game. So I like it. I think it brings a lot to the game, a lot of excitement, both in recruiting and the portal,
Mhm.
and brings a lot more. I think a lot of teams, that makes it where they're getting closer, just in competition wise. Because if you're able to bring in the right transfer, I mean that changes everything for you.
Yeah. Um, no, yeah, it's definitely it's a new world.
Yeah.
Chip Kelly had an interesting press conference yesterday too, where he talked about the state of football and said some things too that I agree with, that I've kind of been saying for a while too. That they really messed up, instead of the big conferences, stealing everyone. The whole
Hmm.
Division 1 should have got together and gone to the networks, and
Oh
just
yeah.
got a TV deal for all of them and then split it.
Hmm.
Exactly what we were
Yeah.
saying last week.
Exactly.
But yeah, we can move on here. Bama hoops, tough loss yesterday to Creighton.
Tough
Speaking
loss.
of Achilles heels for programs and teams, Creighton,
Hmm.
tough one for Alabama. Lost in the NCAA
Yeah.
tournament some years
Back in
back. Think
2012. Yeah.
yeah, think didn't we lose to them in NIT one year too? I feel
Yeah,
like
they dogged us in the 2016
yeah.
NIT.
Hmm.
Had plenty of chances to win yesterday, but yeah, I don't
Hmm.
know. We just haven't learned how to win yet. This team plays
Hmm.
well. Had some tied at halftime, had chances in the second half.
Hmm.
Uh, the big thing is I don't. There's just not a leader of the team. Sears is kind of
Hmm.
that guy, but there's no on field guy, on court guy that everybody can just look to. Um,
Hmm.
just to take over, and even at times, he didn't learn. I don't think anybody looked really comfortable. No one really looks real comfortable in the offense right now.
Hmm.
I don't, even Sears didn't. I thought he was much faster than the Crane dudes that were guarding him, but he just never really took advantage of it. He didn't have the best of shooting days. I mean, he's had a great start to the season there, but
Hmm.
um, for Alabama, I would say the best thing that I did see yesterday was how well Pringle played. I mean, of course, he
Hmm.
had been suspended for a little bit there. I guess some things in. I guess effort wise or whatever, had a huge game. Had 15 points. So he had a heck of an effort there. Fouled out there. That's another thing. Like some of these games that Alabama's been in, I mean, these refs are just taking them out because,
Hmm.
we don't have a lot of, especially with our big guys, we hardly have any. And if they get into foul trouble early and often, which they did for a second game in a row, I mean, we saw that with Purdue, a lot of foul trouble. We saw that yesterday with Creighton, foul trouble. And our big guys, they can't afford that because we don't have depth there at all.
No, yeah.
At all.
It's tough when a team that historically lives and dies by three. That 3 point and shooting
Hmm.
has not really come on this year. 4 of 22
Hmm.
yesterday.
Yeah.
Um,
But
obviously you gotta hit more than
yeah.
that to beat a team like Creighton. And that
Boy,
half
but I
court
thought
shot at the end of
Sears, boy, I
oh,
thought that was it. It was three
ha,
quarters of the way down.
I
Oh
about
my
to say, have
goodness.
you seen the picture? It was literally halfway
Yes.
in the
Oh
hoop,
my
and
God.
it rimmed out.
Oh my gosh. I
Tough
thought
one
he had
there.
hit it. Yeah, tough one, but that's kind of our season. Almost there so far.
Hmm.
Almost there, not quite. Uh, one more big non-conference game on with that Wednesday against Arizona,
Hmm.
who's also coming off a loss there that, kind of interesting. We both played Purdue, both lost to Purdue. So it'll be interesting to see. I was hoping at least win one of these big non-conference games.
Hmm.
Mm, this isn't one that I thought Creighton was probably our best bet.
Hmm.
But we'll see what we do Wednesday night.
Yeah, it'll be a big one, and it's at a neutral site, right?
Well, it's in there. I mean, I think
It's
it's
in
in Phoenix,
Phoenix.
so
Yeah,
I
so
mean,
yeah,
it's not
that's a home
really.
game. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, but yeah,
And
hopefully
I
they
think they're
can put
coming
together
to
something
Birmingham or something next year. So
yeah. Well, yeah, hopefully the Tide can get together and steal that one in their little skid. Like you
yeah,
said,
that
it'd
would
be
be
nice to
huge.
take one of these top 10 wins.
Right. And that's the thing, like we think, oh man, it sucks. But if you look at who they lost to, I
Mhm.
mean, it's been some good teams. So
Yeah.
yeah, take it how you will. You would love to win a few of these, but it's not the end of the world, I'd say. And it's all about conference play at this point.
Hmm. Yeah, if there's no bad losses in there. All
Right.
power teams they've lost to, Ohio State, Clemson, Purdue, Creighton. Um, Purdue and Creighton are top 10 teams. Purdue just knocked off Arizona, like you said,
Yeah.
so they might be a number one team here soon.
Hmm.
Then we got two games: Eastern Kentucky and Liberty coming up after Arizona and before conference play starts. And
Right.
yeah, if
So
you
what?
can have a winning conference record, play well in the SEC, you know,
I think we did. Even if we didn't win any games in the
mhm,
out this tough conference outside the games we were supposed to
mhm,
win, the easy ones, but for the
mhm,
we have a decent enough. It's gonna be hard to keep us out of the tournament just with
mhm,
our talent. Our games as long as we show up enough to. If you look at Alabama and they're the last of the 8 9s, I mean that record's.
mhm.
I mean who we played against should definitely factor into. Hey, this is a team that at least went
Exactly.
out there and attempted to play everybody. So
Hmm. The last bracketology had us as the 5 seed in the South region,
mm,
up
and I
there paired up
saw.
with Kansas. Yeah.
Well, I saw that, and then I saw also the 8 seed, and Jerry
Hmm.
Palm's most recent for
Mm.
whatever that's worth in December. So,
Yeah, I think this bracketology is from a few, maybe before this loss yesterday too.
mhm,
So
yeah,
yeah, it was updated the 12th last. So yeah, it's a little old.
okay,
But yeah,
but still
yeah,
a lot of
we're
season. I mean,
exactly a lot of season.
still
We're starting
December.
to get into that. Yeah, exactly. It's
Yeah,
December in college basketball. It's good for non-conference matchups, but
yeah,
really doesn't tell you anything until February is when you really know.
exactly. And then we also know, you get the heater going at the end of February, first part of March, and teams that
Hmm.
were ass in December and January, all of a sudden, oh man, they're a definite contender for the national title.
Hmm.
I mean, you look at legit look at I mean, UConn had a stretch there for a while where they lost like 4 or 5 games, in January, and people are like, man, are they good? And then they, turned it on at the right time. So it's all
Hmm.
about getting it right before March.
Yeah. Elsewhere in the sports world, let's see. It looks like chance Jalen Hurts might not play
Yeah,
tomorrow
I saw
night.
that.
He's got an illness. Looks like Penn State's going to hire Indiana coach or former Indiana coach Tom Allen as their
As a
defensive
DC,
coordinator. Yeah, that's interesting. Um,
oh man, he went
NBA,
on to Duke.
nothing really big going on in the world of NBA this week. We had the Draymond.
Yeah,
I guess Draymond's indefinite
Draymond's kind of
suspension
the.
now. Yeah.
It's like, and that one is like, dude,
Hmm.
like some of the Draymond stuff is, it's funny, it's entertaining and all, but like this one wasn't even like the choking thing. I mean, that kind of is what it is. He was defending his teammate, if you call it that. You
Hmm.
could see it as that, but this one was just like he barely got. I mean, it may have been a foul, sure, but
Hmm.
like there wasn't anything to punch him about or slap him about. Like it was like, what was going on?
Hmm.
I didn't. I mean, it's funny, but I was just like, wow, like just a complete overreaction there. Like
Yeah.
it wasn't like he got fouled hard or anything, or he just got bumped and he just turned around and just hit him all in his face. Like wow,
Mm.
it'll be interesting
Um,
just to see how long that suspension is, and if that will have an effect on the Warriors' rest of their season or not.
yeah. I thought one weird, interesting thing was the same day that he got suspended, the NFL lifted the indefinite suspension of Rolando McClain.
Yeah,
Um,
he's back. He wants to come
uh,
back to the league. I'm like, dude, it's been what 8 years.
yeah, so
Been
it,
a while.
oof. If you're in shape, sure, but at this point, yeah, it's like maybe just chill. I guess
You know,
other interesting things: the Pistons have lost 23 games in a row now.
The
Oof,
Spurs got
rough.
off their losing streak finally.
Yeah, it looks like they might go back on one today. Well, maybe Pell's up 10 points at halftime. We'll see. Um,
Yeah, but
couple.
Detroit just so
Ooh,
bad, and it
yeah,
doesn't make
yeah.
like they got a lot of young talent there. I don't
Mm-hmm.
get. I just don't know. You just don't never under just I guess chemistry or you can't say I've watched many Detroit games this year to
Yeah.
really know,
Mm.
but they have a lot of young talent there.
Yeah, it's tough for Piston fans right now.
2-24. Wow.
Yeah, yeah, they start off 2-1,
Yeah.
and then yeah, a couple. Let's see, Jimmy Butler, SGA, both hitting big late
Jimmy Butler
buzzer
beating his old
beaters.
team. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. With Jimmy Butler, Keegan Murray had a huge day yesterday. 12
Very good.
pointers, knocked down 11 in a row at one point. Um, thoughts with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar fell at a
Oh
concert,
yeah.
broke his hip. So
Yeah.
thoughts with him.
For sure.
Joel Embiid and the Sixers beat the Hornets by 53, worst loss
Jeez.
in Charlotte's franchise history.
Wow.
And now we're getting kind of to that time of year. Of course, we'll have the big Christmas Day games, but we'll start hearing a little rumblings of trade candidates.
Trade.
Yeah.
And that's one thing. The trade deadline hardly ever misses with the NBA. There's usually
Mm-mm.
something big that happens. Like
Yeah.
when it comes to unexpected headlines, the NBA is king of that stuff. Like they always find a way to
Hmm.
grab the attention at least for a second.
Yeah. Um, yeah, I don't think it might be it kind of in the world of sports for this week. Um, like we said, it's bowl season. Time to watch
Right.
teams you've never watched before play
Yeah.
thrilling games out of nowhere. And
Exactly. And it's the bowl season that you never know what's going to happen just because, you don't, teams are weird, just especially, with transfer portal, teams leaving, players leaving, coaches leaving. You don't know who's going to show up, who wants to play. Um, but yeah, I mean, as a huge college football fan, I still enjoy bowl season. I mean, it's lost
oh
some
yeah,
of its luster, I guess, but anybody who says there's too many bowls, I
no,
can't
no,
talk
no
to.
such thing as too much
No such.
football. Yeah,
Yeah,
no.
yeah,
No, and
yeah.
that's yeah. Even for someone, I know like me, like I love the playoffs. I'm a
Hmm.
proponent. Yeah. If you really want to be fair, give every conference winner a bid to the playoff. Do it that way.
Hmm.
I still love bowls though. They're still great.
Oh yeah,
Still have
they're
them.
still
Who
fun.
cares?
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're still great.
exactly. They're fun, and that's what
Yeah, it's not
it
hurting
should be
anything
about.
to have a bowl game. Yeah,
Mm-mm. Yeah. Um,
if you're,
yeah, I think the reason we used to about the old system and the BCS and all that is just because it just didn't always give the teams that deserved a shot
yeah,
to win a title. That shot, and so that's why
yeah,
that needed to change. It's not nobody wants to get rid of bowls altogether.
yeah,
I've
exactly,
written about it and I've talked about it on here. I think moving the big bowls to the beginning of the season, kind of having them as like showcase kickoff events would be help
that'd
them
be huge.
maintain.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think that would help them maintain like that kind of spirit of really meaningful games now, as opposed to just being sites for playoff games. Because
exactly.
I think at the end of the day, I think we should move everything up through the semifinals on campus. It'll make it better for fans traveling. The atmospheres would be 100 times better.
Man,
Um,
that would be
and then you
huge.
just pick a site for the national title game every year. Let
Exactly,
that be neutral. You know.
that'd be legit.
But yeah. Well, if that's it, then I guess, Greg, what's been done up real good for you this week?
Donna, I would say probably just the holidays again. Just been enjoying watching Christmas movies, just getting in that spirit, I guess. It's, a couple weeks time there, but this time of year is just really about this time with family watching Christmas movies,
Hmm.
cookies, stuff like that. So, how about you?
I'll say the same thing. Yeah, I mentioned work the Christmas parties. I'm pretty much done with work for a couple of weeks now.
Nice.
Um, we're going to see Christmas Vacation tonight here at the Alabama Theater,
Nice.
so that'll be fun. A little bit nice, fancy showing of
Right.
probably my favorite Christmas movie. And then yeah, just going, see family. We got done pretty much all our Christmas shopping yesterday. Um, we'll go play games.
Yeah.
Dirty Santa with certain family. Um, so yeah, just the time of year. Yeah, it's nice. Get to watch some football this week, and yeah, that's about it. So yeah, that should do it for us. I do imagine we haven't talked about. Imagine we'll probably skip recording next Sunday as it's being Christmas Eve, and
Right.
I know I'll be in Mississippi with the family, so
Yeah.
we'll probably
Yeah, I
skip that.
think
Come back to you. Yeah,
right
we'll talk
before
about.
the
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, right around college football
hmm
playoff time be perfect time to come on anyway. So
So yeah, we'll probably, if something happens, maybe we'll try to squeeze one in. We'll
right.
surprise y'all with one, but I would assume, yeah, we'll just record New Year's Eve next. Get one out there to preview the playoff.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. Um, that should do it. As always, folks, thank you for listening. Do subscribe, give us those good ratings, tell your friends to subscribe to us, tell your rich friends to pay us. Uh, listen to all the great podcasts on the Alabama Take Family Podcast. Check out the alabamatake.com. We didn't do a bowl pick 'em this year. Kind of dropped the ball on that.
I was looking for it. I was like, did it get made? I kept checking. I
No,
was,
I talked to Blaine about it, and then I
yeah.
just neither of us really remembered to do anything, and had work
Uh,
and stuff this week, and
right.
it'll be fun.
Did anybody figure out who the winner was?
I actually don't know. I haven't gone back to him about that. I don't know if we can figure out, who won who beat our asses in the pick 'em for the season.
Whoever it was,
Uh,
it
yeah,
was an inside job because they started us.
yeah,
They knew what they were doing.
yeah. But yeah, so that does it, folks. Do have a Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays for
Most
those who
definitely.
celebrate everything else. Be safe out there. I know some storms going up the East Coast, and of course, winter weather time. Most of all, have fun. And
Push.
yeah, Greg, take it easy, buddy. Merry Christmas.
You too. You as well. And we'll talk before the playoff.
We will before we whip that Michigan ass.
Heck yes.
All right, everybody. We'll see
All
you
right,
later.
brother. Yeah.